Hello, my name is Gary, and I was raised in the Western United States, so I'm a native English speaker. I hope that you will enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.
IELTS writing samples. The graph below illustrates the computer ownership in households within a European country from 1997 to 2011. The line chart presents data on computer ownership among households in a European nation from 1997 to 2011. Overall, there was an increase in the proportion of households that owned at least one computer, while the proportion of households without computer ownership showed a declining trend. Furthermore, throughout the period, households owning 3 or more computers consistently represents the smallest proportion. In 1997, the share of households without a computer was the highest, standing at approximately half of all households. This figure then experienced a significant drop to around 30% by 2007, before further decreasing to roughly 20% by the end of the period. On the other hand, the proportion of families owning only one computer began at approximately 43% and showed minimal fluctuations over the entire period. Eventually, it concluded at 45% by the end of the period. In terms of the remaining categories, about 7% of households owned 2 computers in 1997. This percentage then increased steadily, reaching nearly 30% by the end of the period, eventually surpassing the percentage of households without computers around 2010. Additionally, in 1997, it was uncommon for families in this nation to have 3 computers. However, by 2011, this proportion had moderately risen to approximately 8%.
The line graph illustrates the trends in computer ownership among households in a European country from 1997 to 2011. Across the years, there was a notable rise in the proportion of households with at least one computer, contrasted with the decline in those without computer ownership. Notably, households possessing 3 or more computers consistently remain the least common. In 1997, nearly half of the households did not have a computer, marking the highest percentage throughout the period. By 2007, this figure notably declined to around 30%, before further decreasing to approximately 20% by the end of the observation period. Conversely, the proportion of households owning only one computer remained relatively consistent, starting at approximately 43% and experiencing minimal fluctuations over the years, ultimately reaching 45% by the conclusion of the period. Turning to the other categories, approximately 7% of households possessed 2 computers in 1997. This figure gradually rose and peaked at nearly 30% by the end of the period, eventually surpassing the percentage of households without computers around 2010. Furthermore, in 1997, it was rare for families in this nation to own 3 computers. However, by 2011, this proportion had moderately increased to approximately 8%.
The 2 diagrams below compare the layout of a typical Japanese office and a typical American office. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. The floor plans depict two distinct office layouts, one characteristic of Japanese design and the other representing American style. In general, Japanese offices often adopt an open plan layout, favoring communal workspaces over private rooms. In contrast, American offices feature individual workspaces and include additional rooms designated for specific functions. In Japan, seating arrangements are section-based, with employees positioned in parallel lines around a rectangular table to facilitate communication and idea exchange. The section manager sits between the lines to oversee their team, while the department manager occupies the central seat overseeing the office's operations. In contrast, American offices feature division into distinct functional areas. L-shaped tables in the center serve as individual workspaces, while managers occupy nearby rooms on one side, emphasizing the hierarchical structure. Regarding the other aspects, Japanese offices typically feature a single large window located behind the department manager's workspace. Conversely, American offices are often equipped with windows on two sides. Additionally, American offices typically allocate space for photocopiers, storage, and conference rooms, features that are often absent in the more spacious Japanese office layouts.
The floor plans depict two distinct office layouts, one representing typical Japanese design features and the other reflecting American stylistic preferences. On the whole, Japanese offices tend to adopt an open plan layout, emphasizing communal workspaces over private rooms. Conversely, American offices are characterized by individual workspaces and the incorporation of additional rooms for specific functions. In Japan, seating arrangements are structured around a sectional organization, with personnel seated in parallel around a rectangular table to promote effective communication and idea exchange. The section manager sits between the lines to oversee their team, while the department manager occupies the central seat, managing the entire office's operations. Conversely, American offices adopt a divided layout into distinct functional areas. In the center, multiple separate L-shaped tables serve as individual workspaces. Managers are located in nearby rooms on one side of the office, emphasizing the hierarchical structure of the institution. When considering other aspects, Japanese offices typically have a single large window positioned behind the department manager's workspace. In contrast, American offices commonly have windows on two sides. Furthermore, American office layouts often include designated areas for photocopiers, storage, and conference rooms, features that are frequently lacking in the more spacious Japanese office designs.